Alright, Blade 3 review, Blade Trinity. Uh, Heard a lot of things about this movie. Patton Oswalt said that Wesley Snipes refused to be addressed by anything other than Blade. He wouldn't. He was in character the whole time. He wouldn't collaborate with others. He hated Ryan Reynolds. Um, he would sit in his trailer, and it would reek of marijuana, and he would pass post-it notes. Uh, Addressed as where he credits himself as Blade and passing post his notes on to the director and writer or whatever. Um, but they said Christopherson and Wesley Snipes were very unhappy with the script they had gotten. That Blade doesn't need a bunch of sidekicks. And these two were good friends from working on the previous two films together. They were unhappy with this script, and who can blame them? Because you cram it full of characters, it feels like a movie that's just featuring Blade and not particularly about Blade. Wesley and Chris Christopherson, he's in here as much as he usually is, I guess. A little, maybe a little less, but anyways, the film stars Wesley Snipes, Patton Oswalt, uh, Ryan Reynolds, Jessica Biel, Chris Christopherson, or Chris Christoph. Uh, anyways, the film is bad. The film is really bad. Like when you start off, it jumps from one place to another. Like it jumps from this unearthing of a tomb type thing, and then it jumps to like this news where they're talking about Blade and vampires, and I did not like the surface world coming, like Blade being talked about in media and stuff. I didn't like that type of aspect. And then you got Blade hunting down vampires and Blade killing a familiar in the public eye and being filmed by a vampire, and then it being spread and him getting wanted by the FBI, and Wessler being concerned that Blade is surrounded by enemies and he's cornering himself, he's being reckless and all that, and he absolutely is being reckless, and he just has no concern for the consequences. All that stuff's really apparent. It seems really out of character for Blade to just not care because they could bring the whole operation to an end. There are just so many things in here, and there's like this cringeworthy scene of these young teenage vampires hanging out, like talking about people like they're meals and throwing around a trash can and being really rude and disrespectful. And it seems like somebody would have escorted them out of the area or stood up to them or something. But instead, they just decided to target this homeless looking woman carrying a baby and a bunch of groceries. Well, she doesn't look homeless, I guess. She just looks like a poor woman carrying a bunch of groceries and a baby, and they decide to go after her. And this whole scene is just very cringeworthy and out of place. It seems like it's there for nothing. Uh, but, yeah, with everything they said about Wesley Snipes, not really participating and stuff, I could see how why they would need to do scenes like this, but still, it's a very cringeworthy scene. Why is she carrying a fake? Does she just walk around with a fake baby and groceries and all this stuff on her, like just to lure out vampires? I mean, it's a really questionable, cringeworthy scene, and the fake baby has like gas in it or whatever. Uh, the scene was absolutely horrible, and Ryan Reynolds in here. He does his usual Ryan Reynolds stuff where it's just joke, 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 and a lot of sexual jokes, a lot of other jokes, at very inappropriate moments, and it just doesn't work here. The chemistry does not work. I can see why F if Ryan Reynolds was as annoying as his character was in the movie towards Wesley Snipes, I could see why Wesley Snipes just kind of hated Ryan Reynolds. If he's anything like his character, where he just won't shut up, and it's actually said that Wesley Snipes did tell him, "Shut up, you'll live longer." Uh, but yeah, Ryan Reynolds is not fit He doesn't belong in this. His type of humor does not belong in this movie. It messes up the chemistry of everything. It tones and Patton Oswalt. He's not. He does not belong in here either. This whole Night Stalkers angle where they have Blade, where he he's caught by the FBI and he's got to be rescued and he's got to work with this team of Night Stalkers that want to put it into the vampires for good because they've been working on creating this virus and yeah, that will. And there's just Dracula, and I didn't want Blade to go in that direction where film goes. It goes on to we gotta fight Dracula. It's just such a cliche thing to do. I would have really. I was really hoping to see like Michael Morbius at some point in the Blade movies, but this film is really bad. It's just and that one actress, the character I cannot stand. I can't remember which character, what her name was. Something Danica Talos played by Parker Posey. I don't know if it was the character or the actress or maybe both, but I just could not stand seeing her on screen. Her behavior, her ridiculousness, like, and this film is really bad. I mean, it's got good fight scenes. It's got some good fight choreography, mostly from Wesley Snipes. Like all the good stuff is really delivered from Wesley Snipes and Chris Christopherson. Jessica Biel wasn't too bad, and Ryan Reynolds' character was just, you know, it does not fit the chemistry to put this jokey guy in here. Patton Oswalt, their weapons look really absurd, and just their whole operation. Like I did not like any of the characters outside of Blade and Wesker in this movie. I and there's all kinds of other scenes too that just they're there for no reason really. Like Dracula's walking the streets. We get that he can walk in daylight because he's like the original vampire or whatever. But he's walking the streets and he passed by this store that's just all about Dracula stuff. Like seriously, Dracula vibrators, Dracula uh, count cereal, toys, everything, and it's just a really pointless scene where he's looking around at this Dracula stuff. There's all there's this, and then Dracula can shapeshift. That come on, man, like it really takes you out of it, like everything that's been set up. All the mythos, all the like vampires existing in plain sight. It really just brings down the whole trilogy to try to top it off with this. I mean, come on. It's a very bad film, very bad. There's all kinds of things wrong with it. A lot of the music, I do have to say that I did like the This Blood track that played over that one scene, that Black Lab track, This Blood, that fit with the movie, but the movie for the most part is just very bad. Like there's not really a lot in here that's actually good at all. Seeing Blade and Wessler get cornered by the FBI and Wessler get shot down, all that sucked, man. And Wessler was a badass though. It's just to end it there on this note. It's really bad, and they kind of cure the vampires, I guess, but to a to a degree, to a sense, you know, they shoot that thing in Dracula and it kills all the other vampires in the area. Uh, I watched both different endings. You got the one ending where the FBI finds Blade's body and they take him back, and then it turns out to shapeshift back into Drake. And then you have the other one where it seems more fitting with everything that Dracula was saying to Blade that, you know, yeah, you've killed us, but the hunger will always be there. And you're this whole time vampires were looking for a new kind of vampire. You're the new kind of vampire, and the hunger will eventually overcome you. So in the other ending, it's actually not Dracula that they take back. It's Blade himself. It doesn't shapeshift back into Dracula. It's just Blade, and he wakes up and he attacks everybody in the room, and it seems like he may very well be a threat to humanity himself, or he may just go on to do what he's been doing. But in both different endings, they're very similar. It's just who's actually on the table. One is Dracula, he's dead. The other is Blade, and he attacks everybody. And then there was like that alternate ending scene or whatever where they have Hannibal King and Jessica Biel's character Abigail go into this casino and fight a werewolf. And really, it just seems like this whole movie was just being used as a backdoor pilot or whatever to doing a Night Stalkers movie. And that alternate scene, they talk about all the vampires are dead now, and now they're going after werewolves, so it's going to become all about werewolves now. Uh, these characters just didn't work in the film at all. Ryan Reynolds, Patton Oswalt, the whole Night Stalkers gang. It just really threw the movie off, and the movie just spent a lot of time doing heavily focused on scenes that didn't really I didn't feel added to the overall narrative. I'd give this movie a 3 out of 10, man. It's a shame Blade had to go out this way, that Wessler had to go out this way. Real shame. You could tell it looked like they had a higher budget, anyways. Man, it's just wasted. Anyways, 3 out of 10. Subscribe, hit that ring that notification bell. Give me a Vault Boy thumbs up. Helps promote my channel. Check out my PayPal me link if you want to support me. I'm not monetized. Thanks for viewing. Stay awesome. Rock on.